The market never sleeps, and this week delivered. Let's break down the 5 biggest stock moves you need to know about. This week we're covering RKLB, IONQ, Meta, SPCX, and NVDA. For each one, we'll tell you how much it moved, what the headlines were, and what it actually means. Let's get into it. Next up, Rocket Lab. It fell this week, and the reason matters for investors. Rocket Lab lost 16.28% this week, moving from $96.81 to $81.05. The headlines driving this move: Rocket Lab just unveiled a game-changing new technology worth watching. Rocket Lab Corporation, RKLB, stock slides as market rises, facts to know before you trade. Why Morgan Stanley thinks Rocket Lab is becoming player 2. These factors combined to push RKLB lower as investors responded to the changing narrative around Rocket Lab. Those are the key drivers for Rocket Lab this week. IONQ had a rough week. Here is the real story behind the drop. IONQ lost 14.45% this week, moving from $50.13 to $42.88. The headlines driving this move: IONQ Incorporated, IONQ, stock slides as market rises, facts to know before you trade. Is IONQ, a buy as Wall Street analysts look optimistic? These factors combined to push IONQ lower as investors responded to the changing narrative around IONQ. Keep IONQ on your radar as we move into next week. First up, Meta. And this one might surprise you. Meta gained 14.09% this week, moving from $586.63 to $669.31. The headlines driving this move: what Meta's Muse AI image tool means for Instagram privacy. Mark Zuckerberg is turning Meta into a bigger chipmaker. Its newest in-house AI chip enters production in September. Has Meta ever had a stock split? What sets this Mag 7 stock apart? These factors combined to push Meta higher as investors responded to the changing narrative around Meta. That's the story on Meta. Let's move to the next one. Now let's look at SPCX. This one took a hit, here is why. SPCX lost 12.44% this week, moving from $166.07 to $145.42. There were no major SPCX-specific headlines this week. The move appears to be driven by broader market sentiment, with investors turning cautious on the sector as a whole. When a stock moves without clear news, watch the volume, it often tells you whether the move has conviction behind it. That's the story on SPCX. Let's move to the next one. First up, NVDA. And this one might surprise you. NVDA gained 7.98% this week, moving from $195.37 to $210.95. There were no major NVIDIA-specific headlines this week. The move appears to be driven by broader market sentiment, with investors turning bullish on the sector as a whole. When a stock moves without clear news, watch the volume, it often tells you whether the move has conviction behind it. Worth watching whether NVIDIA continues this trajectory next week. And that's your full market week in review. 5 stocks, the real stories behind each move, all in one place. If you want this breakdown every week without having to search for it, hit subscribe, it's free and it takes 2 seconds. We also post daily shorts covering individual stock moves as they happen, so if you follow a specific stock, you'll never miss a big move again. Not financial advice, this is purely educational. See you next week.